So the TNT cameras caught you early, telling the players that they were in their own heads on offense and everything would be okay if you could just string together some stops defensively. What did you feel like was kind of the main issue on that end of the court, especially early on?
I think really one of the first couple of possessions, we actually had some good defensive possessions, but we gave up second chance points. We gave up, a couple offensive rebounds, which I think are deflating. And then, a lot of times when you're struggling on offense, I've said this, for our team, if we can get stops, it, allows us to find some rhythm in transition. But we were playing hard. We were competing. We weren't playing. We weren't playing smart, and that we weren't connected. And I that showed with the 13-point first quarter that we were trying to attack, but we weren't attacking as much. We weren't putting ourselves in situations where we could have success. And I think, again, the defense can cover up for that to an extent, and allow you to sputter a little bit offensively. But, in this case, we were giving up baskets too. And suddenly, you've got a big deficit. I like the fact that we continue to compete. I think there's, obviously, you don't want to take a loss like this, but, there's game 5. And to the extent that, we have to take some things that we did do well as the game progressed and try to replicate them. And then look at things like, giving a team 38 free throws, and the discipline that we have in that situation, and making sure we're getting back and not giving up offensive rebounds, because it's hard to overcome those things. You have to be perfect on the other end, and we weren't that either.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Quinn, you're mentioning the offensive rebounds. What do you think was the biggest breakdown and the reason that the Clippers were able to kind of get their hands on those?
Well, offensive rebounding is, I should say defensive rebounding is usually a collective effort. A combination of just, an initial awareness and urgency. I didn't think we were as locked in on that. And then, there's different types of rebounds, and particularly a lot of them that they were chasing down or going to the boards instead of going back to a body and essentially trying to make sure that they don't get it, as opposed to any one of us getting the ball. So I have to look at the possessions. I'm sure there's a bunch of different things that happened, whether we got caught in a rotation or something along those lines. But the biggest thing is, I think those plays are really deflating. When you basically have gotten a stop and the team misses, then you allow them to get another shot. And usually those second shots are either around the rim, or they end up being clean looks, and usually from 3. And that's what happened.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Quinn, Rudy only got to 32 minutes tonight, and some of that was definitely due to foul trouble. And I'm just kind of curious. He's played generally fewer minutes than other stars have, maybe on other teams in this year's playoffs. Do you feel like there's a minute target you're trying to get to with Rudy, or how are you approaching his minutes in these playoffs?
Well, Rudy can be dominant when he's out there. He's, he fouled out of one game this year. It happened to be in the playoffs. He's in foul trouble tonight. In a couple of the games where we've pulled people out, he hasn't got, minutes at the back end of a game. So no one has to kind of persuade me to play Rudy. We know how good he is and how much we need him. So as I said, the foul trouble is something that, hurts us to not have him out there. And, we'd like to extend him and we do, and we'll continue to. And, you know, that's, you know, every game's got a little different flow to it, but, you know, obviously Rudy's someone that, you know, that we need on the floor.